I swear, New York City and Zohran Mamdani are just flexing on us as the days go by, with more and more incredible news coming out of that city every single week. And of course, today is no exception, where atop a double-decker bus, Zohran Mamdani announced his plans to build affordable housing across the 5 boroughs of New York City, taking journalists and reporters on a ride atop the bus to the planned construction sites for the developments. It's all pretty badass, so let's take a look together, shall we? So this is kind of just setting up the atmosphere, the people getting on the bus, and then we'll get to Zohran speaking in just a second. But showing the bus driver, having a great time. It's very like, I don't even know, it's very cinematic, this whole thing. Zohran with the pictures. And then he gets to speaking. I figured we'd set the tone a little bit, but here's the speech. Let's take a look.
Good morning, my friends. My name is Zohran, and I'll be your mayor today. Now let us go over some of the basics. Contrary to what you may have drawn from context clues, today we are not announcing a new fleet of double-decker buses here in the Bronx.
It would be cool.
Today, however, is all about housing and how City Hall is building a historic number of affordable homes at the scale and the urgency that our housing crisis requires. So why are we here on a very tall bus? I'm glad that you asked. On day 1 of our administration, I signed an executive order alongside our Deputy Mayor for Housing and Planning, DM Bozarg, that created the LIFT Task Force. Our team that has now scoured the city to identify sites where we can build the affordable housing that New Yorkers so desperately need. And today, our lifted double-decker bus will bring us to 3 of the most exciting sites here in the Bronx.
All right, so now they're going off to the different sites, different construction sites, and may I point out, this is another campaign promise that Zohran Mamdani has fulfilled. He said more affordable housing, and here we are going to take a look at the sites for the construction of this exact thing. All right, let's continue. I love the guys in the suits, like clearly like security or something over here. It's awesome. They're just on the double-decker bus having a great time. It's so cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at our first stop.
So that's the planned building right there in the back.
Houses, named after Gouverneur Morris, founding father, penman of the Constitution, but much more importantly, the future site of Solon Park. Solon Park is a great example of how we'll be doing additional infill.
Right, so as we can see right there, they're finding these areas that are just, you know, kind of forgotten within the city, and they're actually utilizing them to build more affordable housing initiatives. Exactly what people ask cities to do like all the time. You see an empty lot and you're like, why isn't there something there? Well, they're actually doing that.
On NYCHA campuses, and it's going to be the largest use of a tool we call transfer of assistance. The largest use of this tool to date. Right here, yep, Solon Park.
Beautiful building.
Site of the project.
Before we move on, do we have any questions about Solon Park, transfer of assistance?
Some people recognizing Zora. Just, oh my god. He's so loved in New York. It's crazy.
Once again.
It's more cinematic shots here. And this is pretty much where the video ends, with them ducking under the tree here. And that's pretty much the end of the video, as you can see. But just incredible work from Zohran Mamdani and his entire team again. Because he's right? Like, politicians, we're so used to politicians never living up to the word that they actually say. Right? Trump was boasting about, oh, I'm never going to get any wars, and now here we are with Iran, however many days later after his 1 week or whatever special operation. People don't live up to their promises. And that's why democratic socialism and democratic socialists at large are actually gaining in popularity a ton right now. A CNN poll found that 1/3 of Democrats now identify as democratic socialists. And I saw this post right here. It really touched me. It tickled me. This is how it feels to be a democratic socialist right now, and how it feels to be a fan of Zohran Mamdani, because as we got a sneak peek of just a second there ago, he's also just such a genuinely nice, caring, friendly guy who really cares about his community. Here's a little clip of him handing out ice cream to talk about his freeze the rent initiatives and freezing that kind of stuff. So he's passing out ice cream. It's summer. It's hot. It's awesome. Let's take a look.
Morning, sir. ठीक हो? कैसे हो? बढ़िया. Thank you, जी. आप कुल्फी लेंगे? हाँ, please ले लो. How's coffee? Good. 5 out of 5?
Yeah.
10 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's all we want.
Can we take a picture?
Yeah, we can take a picture.
Like, when is the last time that a politician, besides Barack Obama, I suppose, has had this level of charisma, this energy, this positive vibe, this attitude. It's just incredible, right? And that's why conservatives and centrist corporate Democrats are so unbelievably terrified of this guy, right? They will do anything in their power to smear his name, to lie about him, to make him less than he actually is, which is completely and utterly badass. It's this guy right here. This is Zohran Mamdani. This guy rules, okay? On that note a little bit, Hassan Piker talked about on his stream a little bit of how the mainstream media and conservatives and liberals alike are trying to tear down Zohran because his success is so apparent. Let's take a look.
They must be very panicked.
They probably are.
About what's going on within the Democratic Party. So much so that they are now resorting to insane levels of slander, including but not limited to complaining about Zohran Mamdani not accomplishing his agenda, which is demonstrably false.
We literally just saw
Right?
proof of it.
It's demonstrably false. And I said this from the beginning, that they did not fear Zohran Mamdani losing.
Nope.
They did not fear Zohran Mamdani failing. They feared his success.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay? Look at these polls, man. Mamdani.
Yeah, we can pause and take a look at these polls right here and zoom in a little bit. Mamdani, so no politician in this country is in the positives right now, which is hilarious to even think about. But Mamdani is the highest rated favorability politician in the country. Just look at this. Mamdani, 5, AOC 12, Thune 14, Johnson 14, Jeffrey 16, and then you have both the Republican and the Democratic Party at 21, DSA at 22. Yikes, guys, what are you going to do about that? Of course, it's because every single Republican out there hates DSA, so it, balances itself out there for a minute. But Hassan also, I think, talked about it briefly here.
-5, AOC at -12.
Yeah,
This is
the two most popular politicians in the country are AOC and Zohran Mamdani. Very interesting to think about. And on that note, I think we have a clip of AOC right here talking a little bit about her primary success and all of these things that have been coming out about her, potentially running in 2028 and all of these kind of things. So she was just on the majority report. Let's take a look at that clip right now.
I am surprised by it. I think sometimes people would talk about it, and I was always candidly like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
But then some of these polls came out, and I'm like, what is happening? I was in Memphis, and Justin Pearson, we were campaigning for him, and there were some folks actually had driven out from Arkansas, and they were talking about like the straw polls out there, and I'm like, I don't, but I think people are pissed off.
So whether it's AOC or Bernie Sanders or Zohran Mamdani, El Sayed, the progressive movement in this country is growing. It is popular. It is reaching its stride in ways that really were never thought possible until just this very year, right? In 6 months, so much has happened. So if you would like to see more news on progressive politics, on progressive politicians, be sure you subscribe to US Democratic Socialists for more news like this. But I think that's all the time I have for today. I'm Iago Lashua. Have a great day. Goodbye.